What if I told you that in just 1 year, the marathon stopped being human? What if what we saw in 2025 wasn't a coincidence, but a warning? One man ran 21 kilometers faster than most people thought was even possible. Others held paces that used to last only minutes, for more than 2 hours straight. Why are so many runners suddenly accelerating when everyone should be dying? Why are records no longer falling by seconds, but by leaps? Are we watching the most savage generation ever to touch asphalt? Or is there something no one is seeing yet? Because this isn't just about winning races. It's about understanding why, in 2025, fear disappeared and running changed forever. Stay here, because what comes next explains everything else. It all started with the half marathon. And no, it wasn't just another race. In Barcelona, 2025, something happened that no one had in the script. Something that shattered a barrier that looked untouchable. Jacob Kiplimo ran 21 kilometers in 56 minutes and 42 seconds. Let me repeat that, 56 minutes. For the first time in history, a human being ran a half marathon under 57 minutes. Not by 1 second, not by 2, by almost 50. That's not an improvement. That's a jump. We're talking about maintaining roughly 240 per kilometer for more than 21 kilometers. A pace most runners can hold for just a few minutes. And he held it all the way to the finish. But here's the unsettling part. It wasn't a crazy finish. No desperate sprint. It was steady, controlled, as if he wasn't even on the limit. While others break, he accelerates. While the body should be screaming, "Stop," he keeps pushing. And that's when every alarm went off. Because the half marathon has always been a transition distance. A stepping stone toward the marathon. Something in between. But in 2025, that changed. The half marathon became the laboratory of the future. The testing ground for how far the human body can go before it breaks. And Barcelona wasn't an isolated case. It was a signal, a sign that something had changed. And what came next was even more serious. After Barcelona, many thought the same thing. It was a perfect day, a fast course, a once-in-a-lifetime performance. Then came Valencia, and the problem stopped being about the record. Because in Valencia, it wasn't one alien running alone. It was many, brutally fast times. Large groups holding impossible paces. Runners passing 10K like it was a warm-up. This wasn't a fluke. It was depth. An elite field running at a new, terrifying average level. Valencia confirmed something unsettling. Barcelona wasn't luck. It was a trend. The world's fastest half marathon proved it again. Aggressive pacing from the start. Zero fear of the clock. Zero fear of blowing up. And the key wasn't who won. It was how many finished close. How many held speeds we once only saw in highlight videos. The mental barrier was gone. No one was running to see what happens. They were running to attack. Barcelona broke the limit. Valencia made it repeatable. And once something becomes repeatable, the next step is inevitable. Because if this happens over 21 kilometers, imagine what happens over 42. And that's where it got dangerous. The marathon used to be different. Patience, control, waiting for others to fall apart. But in 2025, that changed. In Valencia, paces once called suicidal were held to the very end. Korir won in about 2:02, not surviving, attacking from start to finish. And on the women's side, Joycelyn Kipchoge ran one of the fastest times ever recorded. A pace that, not long ago, would have been considered impossible to sustain for 42 kilometers. What's disturbing isn't the number. It's the feeling. Because we no longer see slow burn marathons. We see marathons attacked from far out. Runners no longer wait. Before, starting fast was a mistake. Now it's the plan. The marathon stopped being a passive test of endurance. It became a test of aggressive endurance. Surviving isn't enough anymore. You must hold a high pace for too long. And when this happens on courses like Valencia, the message is clear. If you can do it here, you can do it anywhere. The marathon has entered the same logic as the half. Less fear, more ambition. That's where the real shift begins. But 2025 isn't just understood through times. It's understood through people. Because this year made one thing clear. No one waits for the perfect moment anymore. They attack. Jacob Kiplimo stopped being just a half-marathon specialist. He became a total threat. 10K speed. Marathon endurance. No hesitation. Runners like him break the oldest rule, the rule of pick one distance. In 2025, that rule died. And while some rose, others closed their chapters. Eliud Kipchoge no longer grabbed headlines with times. But every race was living history. It wasn't decline, it was the end of an era. And that opened the door to something new. Korir, Benson Kipruto, Hellen Obiri. A generation that doesn't run with fear. That doesn't run to learn. They run to dominate. Before, legends were built slowly. Now they appear ready to win from day one. No reverence for the past, only hunger. 2025 was the year power changed hands. The year legends stepped aside for runners who don't ask for permission. And they all share something chilling. Something that explains why this year was different. And something almost no one else is copying yet. Here's the key. What connects Barcelona, Valencia, and all these names isn't just genetics or talent. And no, it's not just the shoes. The real change of 2025 was this. The ability to sustain high intensity for too long. Before, running fast was a phase, a moment, a surge. Now it's the baseline. Half marathons are run like extended 10 kilometers. Marathons are run like stretched half marathons. The body no longer saves itself. It goes all in and endures. Runners now reach halfway at paces that once guaranteed explosion. And they don't explode. Why? Because training has changed. Because the threshold isn't touched. It's lived in. More time at hard effort. Less fear of fatigue. More adaptation to controlled suffering. And here's the part that matters for you. This isn't just elite stuff. This is where everything is heading. Many runners still train like the marathon is about waiting and surviving. But the sport has moved on. 2025 made it clear. The future belongs to those who can hold pace when the body says slow down. That's why this year wasn't just fast. It was dangerous. Because once you discover you can endure more than you thought, there's no going back. To truly understand 2025, you have to look at the majors, all of them. Boston was still Boston, hard, unpredictable. The one who read the race and attacked when no one dared, won. London proved patience is no longer enough. The pace was hot from far out, and hesitation was punished. Berlin didn't deliver records, but it showed something eerie. Even on the fastest course in the world, no one runs with respect for the clock anymore. They run to dominate it. Chicago was fearless, a race that shattered early, leaving only those willing to risk everything. New York was war. Hills, wind, chaos. There, the fastest don't win, the toughest do. Tokyo showed the other face of the new era. Order, rhythm, precision. Proof that this new generation can run smart, without fear. And Sydney closed the circle, confirming something historic. The marathon is no longer owned by a few countries. It's global warfare. 7 majors. 7 very different battlegrounds. One single pattern. In 2025, the conservative runner didn't win. The one who understood the marathon waits for no one did. When that happens across every major race in the world, it's not a coincidence. It's a trend. Now everything fits. 2025 wasn't a transition year. It was a point of no return. Half marathons stopped being cautious. Marathons stopped waiting. Big races stopped forgiving. Fear disappeared. And when fear disappears, limits don't last long. What we saw this year wasn't the ceiling. It was the floor of what's coming. Because once you realize the body can endure more, there's no turning back. 2026 won't be calmer. It'll be wilder. And if you want to understand why some runners fly while others get left behind, watch how they train. Watch how they attack. Watch how they hold the pace when everything burns. Because the future of the marathon and the half marathon doesn't belong to the patient. It belongs to the ones who run without fear. And that's what almost no one is training for yet.